A very good afternoon to one and all. Today, we are gathered here for the national webinar on building resilience, Indian firms and India. Today, we have with us Dr. Prashant Salwan, Professor, IIM Indore. Sir, I request you to please on your video so that we can see you. Oh,
you can see me now?
It's looking very nice, sir.
I'm in Goa.
Yeah. So, we also have with us our Vice Chairman, sir, Mr. Shantanu Khariaji. We also have with us our Group Director, sir, Modern Group of Institution, Dr. Puneet Kumar Dwivedi with us. And I, Arpita Patel, Head Media and Corporate Communication, Modern Group of Institution, welcome you all to the national webinar on building resilience, Indian firm and India. So before moving further, I would like to give a brief introduction about our organization. Modern Group of Institution is a leading premier institute in Indore affiliated to RGPV Bhopal and BAV Indore and CBSE New Delhi, approved by AICTE New Delhi, NCTE and PCI Indore, New Delhi. Modern Group is imparting quality education in the field of pharmacy, management, commerce, and education. We offer more than 8 courses in these fields, which includes B Pharma, D Pharma, M Pharma, BPA, BCom, and B.Ed. Modern Group of Institution, Modern Group is also encompasses two leading pharmaceutical industries, Modern Lab and Nandini Medical Laboratories Private Limited. Modern Lab was established by late Shri P.C. Kharia in 1979 and Nandini Medical Laboratories was established in 1998. Both gained prestigious acclamation in the All India rating of pharma industries. We also have Modern International School established in 2013. We believe in innovation and entrepreneurship, and hence we introduced MP's first pharma incubation center, that is Modern Incubation Center, in the year 2019, sponsored by MSME. Recently, we have received World Book of Record UK and World Record Academy USA for making largest human image of medication capsule. Also, we are recognizing participating institute of Unnat Bharat Abhiyan in association with IIT Delhi and MHRD Government of India. The institute also have Modern Incubation Center, Modern Innovation Council, which is Institute Innovation Council, IIC by MHRD Innovation Cell. So this is about our organization. Now we will move further, and I would like our Vice Chairman, sir, Mr. Shantanu Khariaji, to welcome our speaker, Dr. Prashant Salwanji.
Hello, sir. It's nice to see you in Goa, I should say. I hope you're enjoying your vacation there.
Yeah, thanks.
I had an interaction with Dr. Prashant, sir, when he visited our campus last year, or I think so, in November or December. And we both talked about innovations and how, we can build nation building activities and all those things. And this seminar is somewhere related to that only, how we can build the resilient and how we can build our nation together. So I welcome you, sir, for this modern talk. And I welcome all the panelists as well, so that they can get enriched and they can listen to your views, and we can at least enlighten ourselves how to build a resilient nation. Welcome, most welcome, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
Thank you so much, sir. Now, before moving further, I would like to give a brief introduction about our guest, Dr. Prashant Salwanji. Dr. Prashant Salwan is a professor of strategic and international business at Indian Institute of Management, Indore, India. He is an alumnus of London School of Economics and Political Science, UK, and British Chevening Scholar and a Fulbright Scholar. He has approximately 23 years of experience, out of which 15 years in academics and 8 years in industry. He has PhD, 2 postgraduate degrees in management and international trade. He has been educated and trained at University of Pune, London School of Economics and Political Science, UK, Harvard Business School, University of Michigan, Rose School of Management, IIM Bangalore, and IIM Calcutta. He has also undergone training leadership for Higher Education Institute in University of Illinois at Urban Campaign. He teaches various subjects in strategic management and international business domains. He has guided 8 PhD students. He has given invited talks on Ohio State University, Texas University at Dallas, Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. He has senior research fellow at Wharton School in 2018. He has provided customized training and consulting to Government of India, Indian and foreign multinational. He is a World Bank consultant and was lead consultant for the Autonomy and Strategic Planning Project. He is also consultant for UNDP, MHRD, MP government. Dr. Salwan has around 75 research publications in national and international research journal books, including in Harvard Business Review. Till date, Dr. Prashant Salwan has co-authored 4 textbooks in the area of international business, international marketing, takeovers, restructuring, and corporate governance, merger and acquisition, strategic management, and 1 research book on best business practices for global competitiveness. These books have been published by McGraw-Hill, Pearson, and Sterling Publishers. Dr. Salwan also writes for newspapers like Business Standard, Times of India, DNA Money, etc. I feel honored to welcome you, sir, for the national webinar. We will definitely get so many information and so many enlightenment from your side, sir. And we already have 175 participants with us right now. And now I would like you to start an introductory talk on the topic of the webinar, that is building resilience, Indian firms and India.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. It was really very sweet of you all to give a very nice presentation about myself. I just wanted to ask you, can we show the PPT and the video in this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Should I mail it to you or should I share it from here?
You can share it from there, and I also have your email. Whatever best,
okay.
whatever comfortable.
Fine. So, sure. So, what we will do is
share slide.
We will share. Yeah, we will do this. I'll share the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. You all can see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, questions can also be. So, this is all input I'd like to give you on what you mean by resilience. So, agility is a subset of resilience. So, I'm just putting it strategic agility and resilience together. See, if you look at the present scenario, I will talk in Hindi, English both. So, if any problem is there, just mention to me. I have no problem. I can switch in any language per se. If you see COVID-19, geopolitical issues, economic cycle, and many other forces that have substantial effects on the fortune of business are inherently uncertain. Like, for example, we are saying that COVID happened and hence my revenue has gone down or things like that. There are multiple forces which actually are uncertain when actually a firm decides strategy formulation. High volatility in business environment has become the main norm per se, and it is the normal. We have to actually live with it. It can be uncertainty of the technology. It can be uncertainty of the policy making. It can be uncertainty about consumer behavior, which I am also going to share you some very dynamism of consumer behavior happening across the globe. And while scenario analysis is a worthwhile exercise, but there are some other things which we have to take into consideration because uncertainties are coming and will be the norm of the day when the firm is actually or a country is actually developing its strategy. So the business context is and will remain uncertain. But the main issue here is in uncertainty, you have to sustain yourself. That's one of the most critical part which we have to understand. If you're saying, no, nothing is in my hand or our hand of development of strategy, that is actually wrong. Is a firm can actually develop and create sustained competitive advantage. Let me show you some examples. If you can see this slide, what happened was there were some big researchers like Prahlada and Pankaj Kemawat. They all did a lot of research. So they just wanted to find out that how does a firm, which type of firm sustains its competitive advantage? How does a firm survive? Things like that. So for 20 years data they took, there's one more data of 2014, from 1984 to 2014, the results are the same. But this picture looked very beautiful, so I put this picture just to show it to you. So this picture shows you that for 20 years, there were some firms who created a lot of profit, like toiletry and cosmetics was the most profit-making company, soft drinks, tobacco. All these products are bad for health, but I don't know why people like it, but tobacco and soft drink were one of the most profit-making margin firms which had medical supplies and things like that. There were some firms who actually made loss, like steel, correct? Air transportation, they made loss. Okay, fine. They said, why is a pharma firm making profit? Because people are there, they get unwell. If economy does bad, the consumption of pharmaceutical products increases, hence pharma is doing well. And steel is making loss because economy may not be doing well, hence consumption of steel is less. So that is what the reason people mentioned. So all the reasons were external reasons. So what the professors did was they went inside those industries and tried to find out that what is the reason of pharma to make profit and what is the reason for steel to make loss for last 20 years. When they went inside, now what I'm doing here is this part called pharma, I have expanded it. So in this pharma industry, there are multiple companies in the pharma industry. So if you see Merck and Co, correct, Pfizer, they all pharma companies are making above average returns. But if you look very careful, there are more pharma firms who are making losses also. So we just said a few minutes back that pharma is making profit for last 20 years. The reason is because people get unwell and there are patents and things like that. But if you go inside, then everybody should make profit. Then why some firms are making profit versus some majority of pharma firms are not making profit? So what is the reason? Now to understand this, they also took steel. Now we just saw a few minutes back, steel is making loss for last 20 years. But when we go inside steel industry, we realize that yes, there are firms who are making loss, agreed, because economy is doing bad and things like that. But there are many firms who are actually making above average returns, frankly speaking, more than even the pharma firms. Now, just few minutes back, we were discussing, and when we said that steel is making loss, the reason is because is using less steel and things like that. Fine, then everybody should have the same effect. Why is some firms like Nucor Steel and other steel who are making more profit versus some are making loss, but there are many of them who are making more profit and more profit more than even the pharma firms, correct? So this made them realize something is when they went the research, this is very critical, which the numbers which I'm showing it to you. As per research, industry level effect appears to account to only 10 to 20% of the variation in the business profitability. Means यदि हमने कहा recession हो गया, correct? यदि we said in this industry recession has affected this much percentage, it only affects 10 to 20% of the variation in the business profitability, while stable within industry effect account to 30 to 45%, and remainder was assigned to the effect that fluctuate from year to year. Now, when you look at these numbers, correct, what the inference you get? The inference is if external environment affects, we agree, but not as much as how the firm internally has to develop itself. Like, for example, if pharma is making money, now let me give you a small example before we go back to those numbers again. In pharma, those firms who invested in R&D, who invested in patents, who invested into international expansion, they proactively did it, they made money. Those who did not proactively analyze the market, proactively decided to go to international business, proactively decided to invest into patents, proactively decided to invest into R&D so that they develop new molecules and per se, frankly speaking, they made losses. Means what? It is your internal strength of a firm which makes it survive any type of external environment. Let us take another case of steel. Now you'll say, sir, steel demand has reduced by 20%, 30%, 50%. Fine. But then why is Nucor Steel and Volatile Industries and other steels are making profit? The thing is very simple. They analyzed the market. They invested into R&D. They invested into marketing. They invested into data management. Plus, they invested into value addition. Like I'll give you a beautiful example. Steel is a commodity product. You buy steel by just looking at the quality of the steel. It is 316, so I will use it for utensil. It is 304 steel, I will use it for construction. 38 inches thickness or 32 inches thickness, that is what is the normal criteria or ASTM specification we have. Then how do you create differentiation here? Steel industry invested into multiple activities. They manage raw material purchase, they manage production, they invested into R&D, upgraded the quality of their product due to internal R&D. These all differentiated these companies and also invested into brands. Correct. Now, when you say, like for example, when you go and buy any utensil, what you say, sale steel होगा तो दीजिएगा, 2 रुपए ज़्यादा देने को मुझे चलेगा. I don't mind paying 2 rupees extra if it's a sale steel. Correct. So these are the things where they invested into. So if you look very careful, we realize that external forces affect like 10 to 20%. Variation which in business profitability, stable industry effect 30 to 45%. But remaining are the fluctuation from year to year. It means what, in a very simple terminology, 60% of the profit of the firm depends upon firm's internal strengths, its resources, activities, and how they think to grow. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to elaborate it far more high. So the professors then realized a word called competitive advantage. They say a firm is said to have a competitive advantage over its rivals when it has driven the wider wedge between willingness to pay it generates among its buyers and cost it incurs indeed a wider wedge than its competitors have achieved. Like I just mentioned to you, why we buy sale steel? We say because the quality is good. It will, and we are confirmed that it is steel. The iron concentration is not very high. Hence, I can use it for my multiple activities, and it will be strong. Correct. So this is nothing but an image. This is nothing called brand, which is result of nothing but quality management and R&D. So everything is step by step related. So we have to understand those things in a very clear-cut terminology. Now, to understand this, I will request that we will see that small video. I'll play that video, and then we will come and analyze this activity in a very different perspective. So let me run that video. Can you see this video? Hope you can see this video.
Not now, sir.
No, not now.
No.
I have shared the screen, so it should show. No. Let me try again.
You have to close the PowerPoint window for this. You have to minimize the window, PowerPoint window.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now, can you see something? You can see or no?
No, not now.
So
Should I share the screen? If you.
yeah, sure, ma'am. You can do that. That video you can show that, ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, you have to stop this screen share for this. Then I can start.
Okay, let me try this. Let me see if you can see this.
Yeah. Now it is visible.
Can you see this? Yeah. Okay.
But there is no audio, sir.
Now?
No.
No? Okay. Now, ma'am, can you hear?
No, sir.
One of the biggest changes
Now it is audible.
decade has been an increase in the diversity of business environments.
It would be great if you can make it full screen. Okay, now.
To facilitate this, BCG
So audio is not that much clear. So it
Oh,
would be great if you can, give some certain explanation.
can you hear it now? No.
Yes, now it is a bit audible. It is slightly audible, sir. Means the voice is not clear.
What you can hear? No.
No, the voice is not clear. It is slightly audible, that music, but what he's saying, it is not audible.
Oh.
So position your stand along the trail.
Just see this again.
I think, sir, audio is not coming. Many of the participants are also, messaging that audio is not coming.
Lemon crop has been ruined by caterpillars.
Now it is audible. It is restarted.
But you can hear it clearly, no?
No, not now.
Oh. So I'll just stop it. So
Yeah.
Environment.
So I'll just show the PPT again. Can you see my PPT?
No, not now, because you have stopped the screen share.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah. Can you see it now? But at least you could see the people could see the video flow.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at this, just wanted to show you. If you look at this slide, there are actually 5 types of strategy formulation by the firms. First is classical, where you can predict what is going to happen, and plus you can also change in the same manner how things are going to happen. Second thing, adaptive means you can't predict, but you can try to adopt it. Like showed that it was raining, so she just went and it changed somewhere else. Then visionary means the prediction is very clear what is going to happen, but you also expand that. Like you see that market is growing, and hence I have to start from basic vegetable retail to food retail to to retail of clothes and electronic products. So these are the issues. And then when it is very highly unpredictable and malleability, you can adopt a bit, you can do the shaping strategy. But what is going to happen nowadays is a renewable. Renewable means, frankly speaking, COVID actually is nothing but you have to reinvent yourself, your strategies in a very different perspective. So if you look at very careful, if you look at from the classical approach, in classical approach, when you operate in an industry whose environment is predictable but hard for your company to change, a classical strategy style has the best chance to succeed. Let's say in management, we teach 5 forces analysis, correct? We teach internal analysis and then compare it and grow. This is called classical approach. In adaptive approach, what we have to do here is we have to do experimentation, basis of succeed, unpredictable, none. So we try to do some experimentation to prove the product per se in the market, which people will like. For example, Ertica was an adaptive strategy by Maruti. Then visionary, envisaging and materializing new value creation, both predicting and shaping are possible. Like we, for example, some company says from brick to mortar, I'm going to go to e-commerce. Correct. So we invested beforehand, hence we grow very fast. Then shaping an ecosystem and platform-based approach. Frankly speaking, this was done in year 2000 by Microsoft. I'll give you an example. Microsoft market share was approximately, if I had invested $14,000 in Microsoft shares in year 1990, can anybody could have guessed by 2000 what was the value of those shares? Any idea? With many, let us take one simple $25,000 I have invested into Microsoft shares in 1990. What will be value of those shares in year 2000? 10 साल में वो share का value कितना grow किया? Any idea? Anyone? You can just type your thing and tell me. Any guesses? 25,000 rupees I've invested. How much I will get after 10 years of investing into Microsoft shares from 90 to 2000? Anyone? Any numbers you want to share? The answer was 1.4 crore, means so you can imagine 114 million. So if I invested 25,000 rupees in some activity, it became 1.4 crore in 10 years. And the reason was because Microsoft created an ecosystem. Microsoft was a supplier to an OEM, but what it did was he made independent software vendors work with them. It made the OEM create value only because due to the software which is coming in the line, reduce the competition. So he shaped the various ecosystem partners who work together. And this is what we have to start thinking. And renewable is shift pragmatic transformation to ensure survival under severe resource constraint. Like many big companies did that. So whenever there's a resource constraint, the idea, see, WhatsApp growth was a renewable strategy. WhatsApp was there due to one entrepreneurship person who was an immigrant who didn't have anything. He said, if I have a mobile phone and if I get a internet connection, I should do the communication together, correct? So resource constraint help you to do the renewable, which is what we have to do it now. So these are the various 5 strategies which firms need to invest. We only think about classical, but we don't think about adaptive, visionary, shaping, or renewable. If you look at this slide, which I'm showing you, this is the BCG and article from HBR, which mentions that in classical point, these industries come. In when you look at adaptive, these type of industries come. Correct. I look at from the visionary point of view, these industries come. And when you look at shaping, you find majority of these industries come from personal products to professional service to real estate to life sciences, correct? Trading companies and distributing metal and mining. They have to shape their environment in a very different perspective. So you have to understand where in which type of industries and what you need to invest into to grow. So the most critical part here is simple, is lead. First is the leadership component becomes very strong. Second, combination of exploitation and exploration means I go for in the market to sell, but I also in the market add or launch new products, which I try to learn how the market is growing, which is called exploration. I also invest into R&D capabilities. I also invest into open innovation, which helps me to explore. Then select and match. So I decide what type of strategies I need to do. So if I start from the strategy, decide exploitation and exploration, and then the leadership combined together help us to develop sustainability in a long-term perspective. Now, just look at this slide, which I'm going to show it to you. Each firm have to think what they need to do and how will they grow. If you look at in the classical point of view, abstract thinking, frugality, and focus and attention are the three skill set or base skill required. If I want to shift to an adaptive set, I need to discuss about capability, trial and error, ability to quickly create, implement a new solution, ability to quickly evaluate amount in the financial transaction, correct? But if I want to shift from renewable and renew strategy per se, I have to focus and decide about attention. I need to focus on ability to quickly create, implement a new solution. I want to quickly evaluate amount in financial transaction. I want to capacity to learn from risk and ambiguity. Predispositions to controlled behavior and longer memory span are the various brain skill set required in a firm to shift from a classical point of view to the renew strategy point of view. Now, when we think of these two words called agility and resilience, agility means the capacity to moving quickly, flexibly, and decisively in anticipating, initiating, and taking advantage of the opportunity and avoiding any negative consequences of change. This is called agility. And what is resilience is nothing but bouncing back from the bottom, like the capacity of absorbing and responding, even reinventing if required in response to fast and or disruptive change that cannot be avoided. And today, in the today's circumstances, we require us to be a strategic, resilient organization because we have to now jump back to the normal, correct? Now, how can we jump back to the normal? You have to understand few things very clearly. To be an agile organization, and firm need to have entrepreneurial alertness. Means you have to sense and size opportunity. If there are good opportunity, let me enter. Leadership agenda, what actions to be done. So the leader sits in the board, discusses with people and decides what action I need to do. Dynamic capabilities, it means other than the how I require use my resources, I develop a very unique capability so that I can develop far better products than my competitor. Strategic learning, I'm every time making my people learn and unlearn and do strategic experimentation, correct? And ambidexterity means exploitation and exploration. I also enter the market to sell my product. I also enter the market to learn. These are the antecedents for agility. And what are the antecedents for strategic resilience? For resilience, which is nothing but bouncing back from adversary, which is currently required by a firm, I need to have a very strong leadership. Frankly speaking, in any circumstances, we require an amazing leader who understand the vulnerabilities, effective and communication between crises. We just did recently a research which is going to be out very soon. We have submitted to a very top journal, wherein we interviewed 173 CEOs. And they have mentioned one thing here is they all, when the COVID thing happened, they preempt the thing which they have to do inside their organization for long-term perspective. And they implement it. And those companies survive. Frankly speaking, other companies won't survive if you don't prepare in the future. Second is strategic learning. Learning lessons from crisis situation, documents, crisis, everything we have to learn in a very big perspective. Financial reserves. Yes, I need to have finance and cash in bank. And the finance minister, what she mentioned about giving finance actually is nothing but to help MSMEs and firms to build resilience. And then strategic agility, quick and accurate response to crisis situation. It means other than the leadership, learning and financial reserves, you need to have entrepreneurship alertness, dynamic capabilities, ambidexterity. These three things combined here will help you to develop resilience activity together. Now, to make you understand these things in a very different perspective, I just want to show you some figures. Just look at these figures. Everybody is saying that economy is going down. Everybody is saying India's economy has gone to negative. But this research was done by McKinsey and BCG. And they said that if you look at very clearly, emerging market versus mature markets. So in mature markets, we have taken US, UK, Australia, Japan, and Germany. And in emerging market, we have taken Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, China, India, Turkey, and Kenya. If you look at very careful, you will see India, these are small product groups. But if you look at, see, plan to increase the net spending is high in India. So if you look at Thailand, Vietnam, and India, correct? And some segments in China are saying we are going to increase our spending. Hence, our consumption is going to increase and market is going to grow high. Look at towards my right hand side in the mature markets. Other than Australia, none of the other mature markets have said I am going to increase my consumption. They are going to do the saving mode. It means what? The future market is emerging markets, correct? And the growth is going to happen in a very big perspective here. Now, let us start with this input. The input here is after COVID-19, Indians are going to consume. Now, how should a firm decide, okay, fine, Indians are going to consume, but how should I develop my strategy so that I can capture the market which is going to come in a very big perspective? To understand that, look at this table. This is again the research of BCG, which mentions that post-COVID, country-wise, these are the areas which are going to invest in a very big manner. These are the industries which are going to grow very high, like preventive healthcare. We know preventive healthcare is going to become a very big perspective, and companies who actually react to this and proactively decide for production and product development and other activities will survive. Fresh foods. Fresh foods are going to be a very big manner, and there is some tweak in this I'm going to show you in my next slide. In-home entertainment has increased. Like my research also mentions that 40% CAGR, 40% growth happened in April and May for online in-home entertainment, and we know the reason why. Home Wi-Fi connection has increased tremendously. Savings are going to increase. Vitamin supplements are going to increase. Medical process, groceries, staples in education will be the growth in emerging markets. Even though recent research in education field also mentioned the same thing, we mentioned that online education has increased the consumption plus reduced the cost of higher education. Second thing here is it has a very big social impact, wherein women candidates as well as GER and those are from disadvantaged groups can come and study. So you can imagine how the whole difference in activities are happening. If you look at various other places, Brazil, this industry is going to grow. Kenya, these industries going to grow. India, I have already mentioned which industries are going to grow. Indonesia, these industries, Turkey, China. Versus if you look at US, in US, food delivery and pickup is going to grow, in-home entertainment, saving, fresh foods, packing food, household cares, and alcohol. So these are the issues which are, and one more thing you should understand that antidepressant drugs are going to be sold in a very big manner in US and UK. So if any Indian pharma firm is making antidepressant drugs, they should be ready to export it because in next few months, there'll be huge demand in US and UK for antidepressant drugs. So once I know the data that my market is going to start consumption, I know which areas and industry the consumption is going to increase, then I have to start deciding how I'm going to sell my product. Now just look at this slide, correct? Now this slide, if you see India, fresh food, 22% growth in online, 22% growth of packaged goods in online e-commerce, 24% personal care growth sale in online, household 31 and 32 in vitamin and supplements. If you look at just India's activity, if you are a company who is making vitamins and supplements, have to think not a direct distribution channel, should also have an alternate distribution channel in e-commerce. If I'm in personal care, I have to also decide to enter e-commerce. If I'm in household care, I should know my distribution channel should be e-commerce. So you can imagine these are various countries, and you can imagine each country consumptions are different. I really fail to understand why Indonesia has 43% growth in vitamins and supplement consumption, that also through e-commerce. But it is what is a very simple thing I should say. Once I analyze this, then I decide my customer segmentation. I will request you to see this. In this, surprisingly for me, when I went through this research, those who are younger generation, less than age of 25, they are going to reduce their consumption. They are going to save in a very big perspective. But those who are in age group of 26 to 40, they are going to increase their consumption. So when you look at this slide, so once a company decides I'm selling to whom and how, then they can position themselves accordingly to those segments for growth, correct? And 41 to 55 are going to reduce by 7%. Baby boomers, those are 56 and above, there is not much change in their activity per se. So I decide my consumer segmentation. So each firm, if I want, has has to think about a nerve center, a knowledge management center. I have to develop his organization, which is very simple. Have to have a brand of leaders, develop leadership skills. I have to unlock my balance sheet and decide about financial engineering. I have to merge into digital platform, and I have to decide the cycle intervention, life cycle interventions, plus consumer life cycle interventions, and decide my product will fit where. This is where we have to start investing leadership. Second, strategic learning, financial reserves, and agility. It has to invest into entrepreneurship, ambidexterity. Correct. Now we have also gone which type of industries are going to grow in India. I've also decided which type and which distribution are going to grow, plus which segments. I've also then discussed about how a firm can develop resilience. Now, from the firm level, let us shift to something called as country level. Now, government had told us to do some study and the first part of the report is out called foreign direct investment. When we are doing some research, we realized was now I'm coming to the country level. From the firm, I've shifted to the country level. In the country level, we realized was many companies are leaving China. Many companies were leaving. But the surprising part was they were not coming to India. They were going to countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, Taiwan. Then we analyzed why they are going to Taiwan. Correct? Why are they going to Vietnam, Philippines? Why are not they coming to India for production? When we did the analysis, we realized that I just want to show you this table. Is something called pull and push factor. The pull factor in India is the market. India market is the largest market in Asia, if I remove China. Correct? So it gives very good attraction. But there are many other factors which help a country for attractiveness. First is government policy, tax rate, ease of security environment, moving capital in and out of the country, government incentives. When we analyze these countries, we realize was in Vietnam, a company has to just take one permission from the government. But in India, I have to take approximately permission. So you can imagine if a company has only one this thing versus 136, you have to start thinking in those perspectives that how we need to improve it. Second is infrastructure. In infrastructure, quality of digital infrastructure, quality real estate, plus healthcare system. Now, if you look at this available of land, Government of India is giving land equal to size of Luxembourg. Correct? Indore is an amazing place where we can lot of have investment because a lot of land is available. But we have to market it. We have to create their infrastructure and allow them. When we did the study in China, we realized was China used to first create infrastructure and then invite firms. हम लोग क्या करते हैं यहाँ पे हम लोग जमीन दे देते हैं और बोले आप ही डेवलप करें. Correct? So why would a firm come? Why it want to increase the life cycle, the time for them for starting the production? Second, economy. There is no doubt our economy is the largest. Financial capital is available, domestic market size is very high. But due to the negative of pillar 1 and pillar 2, plus pillar 5, correct? Pillar 5 is strength of investors and property rights, regulatory transparency. Our legal issue takes a lot of long time and foreign companies don't want to bury in that activity. They want to have single process activity. So we have to improve this. Location advantage, we have little lost because Vietnam and Philippines are closer to the business ecosystem of China. So that's the reason people don't mind going there. There's a transportation cost increase of 3%, correct? So we have to invest. So how to improve as a country wise, we have to invest into government policy, infrastructure, develop good business ecosystem, legal system, as well as when we improve this, the negative effect of location advantage reduces and then I can invest into economy. So this is how we developed a value proposition model for the country. So if you look at this slide very careful, you can really imagine India is not good in governance. Infrastructure, we are okay, but Taiwan is better than us, than all other people. If you look at from the economy point, nobody can come close to India. India is very high in economy and economy is doing amazingly well. If you look at business ecosystem, Taiwan and India are together. Taiwan has a lot of high technology ecosystem where a lot of people help you to develop pharmaceutical products, electronics products and things like that. In legal system, we have the lowest among ASEAN countries, legal implementation. So we have to really improve this and I hope government is listening to that. And then location advantage. Yes, we are not good, but not bad either. Correct. So from a building of resilience from the country point of view, our finance minister, she has done really amazing thing. She has given infrastructure boost. She has told us a single line of approval, but these things has to be implemented at the ground level. Hence, the bureaucracy need to really support government intervention and really help in a very big perspective. Clear? So by this, I've just told how a country can develop its resilience, and a country can develop its resilience due to investment into these 6 pillars of government, infrastructure, economy, business ecosystem, legal, and location advantages. Clear? So I'll stop here now, and I would like to listen from you all. Any questions you have or any clarifications you have on this slide? Yes, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really very informative, and it has, cleared up so many doubts that, how we should build the resilience, and how we should, see our business, the future perspective, and how we should develop our businesses. Now we have so many questions in the question answer box, but first I have prepared certain questions for this, which will almost cover all the topics. So I will start, if by your permission, I will start the question answer session, if you permit.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
So my first question is, this answer you have already, I think you have given, but what changes will occur in the Indian firms after this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, there's a lot of change going to happen. Like I give you an example, we are working with some IT firms. Now, as you have seen the new business model of TCS, 75% of the people are going to stay at home. So work from home is the norm now. It's not a different thing that no, work from home has become a norm, which will actually help reduce the cost for IT firm by 8%. Correct. So a second thing is investment into innovation is not something by my profit aega to invest karunga, nothing of that sort. You have to keep money for innovation, you have to keep money for product development, you have to keep money for marketing research, you have to keep money for data mining, analytics. These are the norm which are going to now implement in each and every firm. You may be an FMCG firm, you may be a manufacturing firm, you may be a service firm. Anyone you have to invest in. And international business has to be a part of your strategy.
Thank you so much, sir. Before moving further, I would request you to can you please stop the screen share so that everyone can see the speaker view?
Okay, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. So my next question is, what are the challenges that Indian firms are facing these days, and how they can overcome it?
As I mentioned to you earlier, in the
It has
last slide
already,
from the firm part.
yeah.
So there you have to talk about your nerve center, your organization structure, your investment into knowledge management, investment to financial resilience, correct? Leadership, correct? Digital. These are things intertwined together will help you to develop. So if you look at the model of agility and resilience and you combine the model of resilience, this is what you have to do for sustaining yourself in the present circumstances. Because you have to renew your strategy, you have to renew everything. Yeah.
One of the question from the anonymous participant, they have asked, many firms have never sold their product on e-commerce platform. What do you suggest them from where to start?
Nothing simple. Just go to the website of Flipkart. Go to the website of any of the e-commerce thing. They'll be happy to come, because please understand something. E-commerce create value only due to you. They need both seller and buyers in their ecosystem. If there are less sellers, and there can't be more buyers. So there are more buyers, there will be more sellers. So they need you. They need sellers at any go. Correct. If you are an SME, then please go with Amazon or other companies who also take the product from your factory and then distribute to customers. You don't require to have a warehouse. If you're a big firm having your own warehouses, then go with eBay or Flipkart. So in where you can just from their warehouse you can directly send it to the customer. Correct. So there are different type of e-commerce models, and depends upon which type of firm you are. You implement that. There's no problem. Just go to the website. There's one corner of you want to sell on my thing. Just enter there and fill it. No problem at all. Simple 14-step process to sell through online. After this class, I'll send you a link so they can go through that and learn how an MSME can link to or select which e-commerce platform they need to go to.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Because most of the participant has, asked the same thing, ki how to start the e-commerce platform and which e-commerce platform for best for the different companies like pharma industry, food industries. So we have so many questions on that. So my next question is, because we all are from education institute. So post pandemic, what skill set students should require to get themselves industry ready?
Yeah, very good point. We did a research and we have submitted that report. So we did a research of 193 engineering and technology colleges across India. We also taking data from 200 more than 200 companies. Biggest issue they are saying is online is going to change the skill development scenario in India. So other than the person knowing the basic of education, he should also know that how that education is implemented in the field. Like for example, I'm in automobile design capability, working with lathe things are required. I learn in my engineering colleges, but frankly speaking, if I don't have an experience in the company, I can't start from day zero in the firm itself. The firm has to invest a lot of in training. So what is going to happen? A modular type of system is going to come into play. So I'm going to answer this question to two parameters. One, from the institute point of view. So the institute should start a modular activity wherein some online class, some offline class, plus industry interaction or industry, a person can work in the industry for 2 to 3 months. This is what is going to happen. As you know very well, AICTE and UGC has approved that these courses can be credited and be given to the students. For students doing online course from anywhere can get the credit for his graduation degree. Plus, even if he works in a company, he can get a credit, that amount of credit. So a lot of things are coming. Second part, from the people point of view, if you are doing pharma, if you're doing engineering, if you're doing arts, please understand something. The one which you have to skill which you have to understand is data analytics. Correct. Second, you have to understand, for example, you are doing work by hand, then you have to have an experience of development of design thinking and creativity. So these are a compulsory subject in whatever field you take, you have to invest into. So you need to develop capabilities of analytics. You need to develop capabilities of at hand work, means experience per se. Third, you have to invest into something called all knowledge absorption level, wherein you understand that subject very well and also have a periodically learning capability across. So ये नहीं कि मैंने अभी पढ़ लिया मुझे अभी बाद में पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. You have to step by step learn. So this is what it is, and try to have more industry experience. Industry is changing very fast. So please have that experience, and institute should really help students to come to that level and help students to go for a industry interaction. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very informative. Now, one of the participants, they have questioned Dr. Venu Gopal, and he's insisting again and again to ask the question that the PSU airline is capable to be successful market leader in airline market sector. After enough review, the policymaker may permit the capable operator so that the actual potentiality exists. This contribute positively to the growth of the economy. Otherwise, the piece of cake has to be shared by all the capable and unsuccessful airlines operator. Is it fair from the growth of national economy?
Actually, a very pertinent question he has asked.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at airline, I'll tell you a very beautiful thing here before I go. We did a very big research in airline, and I had a half a page article in the Economic Times when merging of Air India and Indian Airlines happened, and I told them that's the worst thing done. You have killed the both airline by merging. Now, airline industry works in a very different perspective. Now, the question I'll divide into two parts. One is about the airline industry. Second part about public sector. So I'll divide it into these two perspectives. Now, if you look at an airline industry, now if I ask you a question, there are 4 airline industry in front of you. Which airline industry will you invest into? And you can only ask me one data point. Correct? The most efficient airline is which has zero marginal cost. If an airline industry reaches zero marginal cost, that is the most efficient airline because it's a service airline. Correct? Now, to do that, you will be really astonished in a service industry, which is an intangible product. airline industry is very unique because 82% cost in airline is a fixed cost. Fuel, people, and the flight. It can be leased or purchased, that is irrespective. Now, it means zero marginal cost means I have to use maximum of fixed cost, it should be in the air. In the air, it can only be possible when the route and the timing of the routes are very critical. Correct? So, the strategy is intertwined between multiple activities. And in India per se, if I look at very careful, our public sector airline industry were not given enough support for growth. They were nothing but extracted. Like for example, I can give this example published case wherein there was Air India used to have a morning flight from 7 o'clock in the morning from Ahmedabad to Delhi, and evening back from Delhi to Ahmedabad. It used to be 100% full. Then the airline changed the timing from 11:30 in the morning from Ahmedabad to Delhi and 3:30 from Delhi to Ahmedabad. Now, who will go to that airline? Business people will not go. No? So the flight was empty, and the most profit-making timing was given to a private airline. Correct? Which resulted in what? The private airline going up, but a public sector going down. So there are multiple issues which are relevant here, which we have to understand. One is the rule of the game in the industry means route timing on the routes are very critical. Second, giving flexibility for the airline to operate in a market system, not in a control system. The biggest problem with the public sector is we said you have your bath, you please do the swimming, but frankly speaking, have 20 kg product on you. But a private person can swim without any baggage on his head, correct? So that is what is the problem with public sector. So government should give flexibility, should allow private public sectors to also fight in the same manner as the rule and regulation of the private sector. They should not control them in a big perspective. But there are some public sector really required because not for profit we have to learn, like Indian Railways, correct? So these are the issues which are those one which is not core for the government. Let us give it to private. No doubt about it. But which is core for the government, let us keep. That is what I hope is satisfied, or you want something more.
That, you have explained very well, sir. And I hope Dr. Venugopal has got their answer. And most of the participants, they have got, got the clear things, and they should understand what is resilience and how we can build it in Indian firms. So the session was very informative, sir. And it was very well explained. And we already have 145 participants with us who were listening throughout the session. 245, sorry. 245 participants with us who were listening throughout the session. And they have asked many questions also. Because time, we have bounded with time, and we cannot ask all the questions right now. So definitely we will, keep doing such sessions with you, sir, so that everybody can get the answer for all the questions. Now,
sure. That's so nice.
I request our director, Dr. Puneet Kumar Dwivedi, to propose word of thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really, right this session. ये मेरे गर्व की बात है। आशीर्वाद हमको मिलता रहता है। तो विशेष प्रेम है। इस तरह जो एक्सपीरियंस है, कर पा रहे हैं और एक नेशन बिल्डिंग जो है, उसमें नेशन बिल्डिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन की ओर से सहभागिता इसमें देखने को मिली, हम लोगों का सौभाग्य है। I would like to thank you, sir, and all the participants for listening to this wonderful session by Prashant, Salwan. And future maybe we have 3 many questions, and we will list all these questions and try to send all these questions to her and request her to answer all these questions, and definitely will send back to you all. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your
thank you so much.
Time.
आपने इतनी अच्छा दिया मुझे opportunity. I'm very happy with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, sir, from Modern Group of Institution. I thank all the participants who have participated in this national webinar, and I request all the participants that they will get a feedback link after the host will end the meeting, and you will get the certificate within 7 working days from the date of the webinar. We also have many webinars lined up after this. So please join all the webinar and get benefit yourself. Thank you so much.